How far would someone go for the truth if knowing it could destroy everything? At what point does protecting someone stop being duty and become love? And why do some people break away from harmful systems while others stay loyal to them?
Hello and welcome back to Minds Over Magic, the podcast where psychology meets romantasy. I'm Katya, a romantasy reader.
And I'm Catherine, your resident psychologist and psychotherapist.
Today we're back to Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I'm excited. Yay. I enjoyed having a little break, enjoyed chatting with Becky and Evan. But it's good to be back to our characters. Today we're discussing chapters 35 and 36. Where everybody is given a choice.
And from a psychological perspective, we're looking at how human connection changes people, even inside systems built on fear, control, and loyalty.
Ooh. A quick reminder, this podcast is intended for mature audiences. Minds of Magic may include discussion of adult themes, strong language, violence, and sexually explicit content, especially as they relate to the romantasy novels we cover. Listener discretion is advised.
And as per usual, Katya is going to give us a recap of the chapters we are discussing today.
I did enjoy having a break from doing this chapter recap. All right.
It's a lot.
Let's do it. At the start of chapter 35, Violet wakes up in the interrogation dungeons, strapped to a chair with her connection to Terran severed and no access to her power. Varrish knows that she somehow stole Lyra's journal from the archives, but he doesn't know why, how, or who helped her. There is no way Violet can explain this without lying, and the truth sayers are watching her. Varrish proceeds with the interrogation, regularly calling Nolon in to mend Violet so he can break her again. To help her cope, Violet's subconscious conjures an image of Liam, who helps her endure the torture. Varrish reveals that his true target is actually Xaden. He's hoping that when Violet doesn't show up in Samara by the end of the week as planned, Xaden will break the codex by abandoning his post to rescue her. This would then give Varrish the opportunity to interrogate and break Xaden as well. Despite everything Varrish does, Violet refuses to tell him anything. So Varrish decides to bring in Dain. He tells Dain that Violet is a traitor who stole Lyra's journal, plans to bring down the wards, and has been helping to arm the enemy. Varrish convinces Dain to look through Violet's memories. Using all her strength, Violet pushes memories of Resen and Liam's death to the surface, hoping Dain will finally see the truth and understand. For a moment, it seems like Dain doesn't care about the truth and that the only thing that matters to him is that Violet has been arming the Flyers and is, therefore, a traitor. Meanwhile, all senior leadership has been called to the border and Nora urges Varrish to leave. Dain then asks to see Violet's alloy-hilted dagger so he can compare it to the dagger from her memories. Instead, he uses the dagger to stab Varrish and free Violet. Dain helps Violet out of the interrogation chamber and threatens Nora into letting them pass, just as Xaden appears and slashes Nora's throat. Chapter 36. Xaden is furious and initially tries to kill Dain, but Violet shields him, explaining that Dain actually saved her. Violet is worried that Xaden has put the entire movement at risk by coming to her, but Xaden tells her that he loves her and would always choose her first. Then Violet and Xaden finish Varrish together by stabbing him through the heart. As they make their way out of the dungeons, they encounter General Sorrengail. Lilith has been away the entire time Violet was imprisoned and had no idea that Violet was being tortured. She gives Violet the antidote to the signet blocking serum. Violet then learns that Lilith placed her in the Rider Squadron to protect her from Markham, who viewed Violet as his future replacement. Lilith had called in a favor Xaden owed her for allowing the Marked Ones to the Rider Squadron and giving them a chance to fight for their lives. In return, Xaden was supposed to watch over Violet if she successfully crossed the parapet. Lilith also confirms that she was the one who gave Xaden the scars on his back. However, she didn't know that Xaden was the one stealing weapons out of Asgaeth, and she still doesn't know that Brennan is alive. She tells Xaden to take Violet and leave without telling her where he's taking her. At this point, Xaden just wants to leave with Violet and the Marked Ones immediately, but Violet insists that all the cadets should be given a choice. Dain then calls formation. Together, they tell the cadets the truth and even share memories of Resin and Liam's death through the dragons. However, not all dragons want their riders to know the truth, so some cadets remain in the dark. Many cadets choose to believe Dain and follow Violet and Xaden to Arisha, where they're met by shocked Brennan. End of part 1. So
You said you wanted writers.
that's right. These are very eventful chapters, like loads is happening. And we find out a lot of information as well. What are your first impressions as a reader?
Yeah, that was like one of my favorite parts. I just loved it. Like, cause I was just like, oh, I mean, I'm so glad Dain finally, came around.
Yep.
Obviously.
Yep.
And it was, yeah, I just thought it was really well done. I thought that I loved I didn't love the torture scene, but I loved how she didn't give up any information, but she still stayed loyal. She still got, I mean, I could imagine those bruises on her face, like she went through a lot, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think this was supposed to be the end of book 2.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think this is what Rebecca planned originally, and then it went into, so we finished part 1, and then part 2 is, different location. But yeah, that was her apparently initial intention.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree with you in terms of, I think it's Violet's brilliance again, right?
Yeah.
Because she is in a very difficult position. She can't lie, she can't defend herself, because if she lies, then she's in a bigger trouble, because Nora is there watching everything that she says. So it's selective truths. Like, is this journal what did they say? Like reproduction? And she says, I don't know, I haven't examined it. Right. She knows it's
and she's
real,
supposed to, doesn't the codex say that you're supposed to examine the materials before you bring them in the, diverting everything?
Yeah. So that was brilliant. And it's only 2 chapters, but there's just so much going on.
Yeah. Talk with her mother, and her mother talking about how she wanted to keep her alive, thinking that the scribes were going to be overrun with all the information. And
Yeah, definitely. So what did you think about seeing Liam? Were you excited to have him back on the page?
It was really sweet. I thought it was appropriate. I thought,
Yeah.
seeing someone help her.
I've seen this kind of thing in other books and movies too, like when a character is under extreme stress or in danger, and there is an image of their loved ones. They help them to guide through the, whatever situation they're in. And as I was reading it, I was thinking, how realistic is that, psychologically? Can our brain actually create this kind of support in real life? Or is it just a fictional device?
I think it's more psychologically realistic than people think. I mean, under extreme stress, like trauma and isolation and grief or fear, the brain often reaches for some kind of emotional attachment, a figure to regulate that distress. So sometimes it shows up as talking to someone in your head, or, hearing an internal voice or something. But more importantly than that, it doesn't necessarily mean it's something psychotic or detached from reality. The brain is just trying to survive, right?
Yeah.
So we actually see versions of real life all the time, like people hearing a deceased loved one's voice, like during grief, or trauma survivors mentally imagining someone comforting them, soldiers talking, to absent family members in combat, and children imagining protective figures when frightened. So psychologically, attachment figures become internalized, and meaning over time, the people who make us feel safest become part of how we regulate ourselves emotionally.
So it's not a sign that you're going crazy, like if you imagine somebody.
No, it's very common. It can last for a little bit of time too, especially after someone dies.
Okay.
And remember, Violet was completely isolated and physically restrained and distressed and tortured and sleep deprived and disconnected from Taryn and emotionally overwhelmed. And her mind just reaches for the person who represents loyalty and safety and emotional grounding. And that's what he was for her. Yeah.
Yeah. There is actually a bit of a debate in fandom about
Mm.
whether Liam was actually a hallucination. So when I read the book for the first time, to me it was just another side of Violet, because Violet is so good at compartmentalizing. And I just thought, it's another tool, like another, it's just her mind is so amazing. But then I saw this debate online that, people's like, oh, maybe it was actually his spirit. And then I spoke to our mutual friend who is reading the book when he was reading the book. I'm talking about Ricardo here. And I
Uh-huh.
asked him, and he's like, oh my God, Liam appeared. And I was like, oh, what do you think? And he said, oh, it's totally like his spirit, like as in a kind of like a ghost of
Oh,
Liam. And I was like,
yeah.
oh, interesting. And without any spoilers or anything, in book 3, there is more information about their religious system, beliefs about the gods. So
Mm.
there is kind of like maybe spaces it maybe feeds a little bit into that, that Liam is actually more than a hallucination. And so I wanted to ask you, what do you think or what you would like it to be, like when you were reading it?
Well, okay, so whether he's a supernatural being or just a trauma response, I think for me, it almost becomes secondary because emotionally he represents the part of Violet that refuses to break.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see it going both ways. I could see some spirit of Liam coming there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, what I love about him is he didn't actually magically rescue her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
just helps her endure, and
Yeah.
that's the difference psychologically. Like if it was magically something he was going to help her through it, that's the other thing. But I think our brain just is really good at keeping us alive.
Mm-hmm.
And if Liam had to appear to help her, I mean
Mm-hmm.
I think you could take it either way. When I saw it, at first I was like, wait, Liam's not, no, that's not Liam.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, well, okay, so he's coming to her.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter what you believe, it's going to be what you want it to be, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think I like the idea that it's actually her brain, you know.
yeah, it's actually energy. I think people leave energy behind,
Mm, yeah. I think people
So,
who prefer this being almost like Malik, the god of death, sent Liam to support
mhm.
Violet. I wonder if those people just really want Liam to stay as a character.
Yeah, that would have been me. I would have been like, yeah, Liam's really there. He's there. He knows.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but do we ever really know?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, we'll see in
That's the
the
thing.
series. I don't know whether that's going to be at some point discussed. There are some theories that the gods put in the book for a reason, and are we actually going to meet them at some point?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. There is nothing to say that we will, but I don't know. Maybe. Why not? People like theorizing. That's great.
Yeah. Well, religion says, there's angels, there's demons. Hebrews talks about a great cloud of witnesses cheering us on that race
Hmm.
that we run on earth. So, however you think of it,
Hmm.
whether it's actually real life coming in, or not, it served its purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved that part,
Yeah.
you know? And then I remember at the very end, because I had taken a break from the book and I came back, and then I was like, Liam was going in the distance, and I was just like, "War, okay, she doesn't need him anymore."
And I think also there are moments when it feels like Varrish can see him too. It's almost like, he's talking or like responding to Liam. So I think when you're reading for the first time, it's like, hold on, can he see him too? Like, what's happening? But then it's just a very good writing. It's just a very clever way. Rebecca confused us all there for a moment or two. Um,
And you're like, "Wait, but
yeah, no,
yeah."
absolutely.
I actually questioned it. I was just like, well, "What's happening right now?" But
Yes.
if it's magic is magic, I mean, I guess then you can have that, right?
Yeah.
If dragons can talk and read your mind and talk to other dragons and fly and
Yeah.
you know
Have sex.
have sex, and the whole serum thing where I can't hear him, but now I can hear him.
Hmm.
If you can't hear the dragons, how can she see Liam? You know,
Yes. Good
you
point.
know,
Yeah. But because it's not connected to her power, I suppose, right? Like it's
or if he's
Malik.
not real.
Or he's not real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, we finally also have Lilith back on the page, which makes me very excited. We get a very important insight from her, and that's why Violet ended up in the Rider Quadrant. And it was basically for her own protection.
Yeah.
Oh, Lilith, Mother of the Year.
I struggle with her. I struggle. I mean, and then I was thinking of all the actors that could play her. I was like, oh,
Who do you think?
Dakota Fanning would be great.
Oh, really? I think it's
I
a
thought
little
of her.
young for that. But yeah, I mean, they can age her.
I was thinking of older women. I mean, I was thinking first Meryl Streep, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
But then I thought, well, how old is Violet? Then the
Yeah.
mom has to be 40. And then
Yeah.
Dakota Fanning's 40, probably.
Well, I was thinking Charlize Theron.
Oh, yeah, she'd be great.
Yes. And then somebody, I saw actually just today, somebody suggested, I don't want to get the name wrong, but the actress who played Cersei in Game of Thrones.
Oh, the Queen.
Yeah, the Queen. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's good too.
Yeah.
Shame. Shame. Yeah. I just don't know how old they would, you know what I mean? But yeah, you're
I
right.
think that, they can age
She
them.
needs to be older, baby. Lilith needs to be a little older and her face needs to be a little, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad I'm not involved in casting for that TV show, because this is just the debates on social media. I am seriously worried about everybody's mental health.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on there.
There's
I'm just like, just pick them, choose them. I don't care. Just choose them and we'll get there.
Yeah. But it's funny how I kind of was like, oh, yeah, I just pick them, choose them. And then when I see somebody suggesting somebody, I was like, no.
No, that's something.
No.
There's that one guy that looks Xaden. I think he'd be okay for Xaden. I can't remember who he is, but
Oh, the young Australian guy. Josh, I think. Looks quite, yeah.
Maybe.
I think a lot of people, but yeah, there are people who are saying he's great Xaden and others are saying he's great Bodhi. I think I'm in a Bodhi camp. I see him because he looks very approachable, But then again,
Bodhi.
they're actors, right? They can act.
yeah, they can make themselves look.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, let's trust Rebecca and Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, I love him. I'm so glad he's doing it.
Yes. But going back to Lilith. So
Yes.
it's quite interesting because I kind of started thinking about what happened there. What happened in Lilith's head. Because, okay, we know Lilith obviously knows the truth and everything. And she wanted to shield Violet from Markham, who saw Violet as his replacement. And he expected Violet to keep lying. But Lilith was like, well, obviously she's not going to do that. So she puts her in the Rider Quadrant.
Right.
Because in effectively like prolonging Violet's life,
If she made it through the parapet.
Yeah, yeah. So the original plan then, so her father also known the truth. And then would have he shielded Violet in the Scribe's Quadrant, because when he was alive, and that was the plan, that she had her father there to protect her somehow.
Probably.
And then another thing is that cryptic note that her father left her in the book, right, about making the right choices and decisions. So that also, and then we know that he was doing some research, and then Varrish was after that research, and Dain's dad was after that research. Did Violet's dad die from the heart attack? Or was he killed?
Dun, dun, dun.
And then
I don't
if
know.
he was killed, then if maybe that's what prompted Lilith to put Violet into Rider Quadrant. Like,
That makes sense. Yeah.
no, so we have no idea. And we still don't know. Like,
Is it going to happen? Are we going to know? Are we going to ever know?
it's
Maybe
maybe
not.
book 4, book 5, I have no idea, but not in book 3, no.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, we find out more about his research in book 3, what he was researching, but we have nothing about his fate. We don't know. And also, obviously, he knew the truth. Lilith knew the truth. Did they have some agreements, some arrangements, between like his parents about their children, how they're going to shield their kids? Because she says that this is her priority. And, when Xaden drops wyverns all over the border, like, Lilith just like, that's fine. He did it to save Violet. And to her, that's more important than people knowing the truth. So, I mean, I love Lilith.
My question is when does preparing your child become controlling them? Like, I think for her, some themes for her, and now this is just random, but trauma-based parenting,
Hmm.
conditional love, survival parenting, authoritarian attachment, emotional deprivation,
Hmm.
maybe some intergenerational trauma. So I know that Lilith loves competence and survival and toughness and preparedness, but violence experiences that violence. I always say that, but Violet experiences that as pressure and like emotional distance and impossible expectations. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I think sometimes parents give the kind of love that they themselves were taught,
Hmm.
um, which survives the world, but sometimes it's not as effective for the children that they have. But
Yeah. No, it's true because she is protecting Violet, right? But their relationship suffer, obviously.
yeah,
And she still has to play the role, right, of the general, you know. And
yeah, but she could have had a better relationship with her.
I think what you're saying, this is very similar to what a lot of parents go through.
Hmm.
It, not to that extreme,
No, I mean, obviously they don't, scar up people's backs
but as an
and then make them save their daughter.
you have to be strict with your kids. I was just thinking, about like for example, from the basic stuff. You force your children to go to bed at a certain time. You give them
Yeah.
healthy food. It's much easier to say like, oh yeah, whatever, have some ice cream, and sweets, and you don't need to have vegetables and all that stuff. And you can stay up as much as you want, because then you're the best parent in the world. They will just think you're so much
And
fun, and
some parents are like that.
I'm sure. But then there are other things that are, more demanding than that. And it's, for example, teaching them certain skills, like sending them to clubs. They
Mm,
play sports, and they might not want to do that again because they just rather be, sitting at home and, playing or like playing computer games, something. But you
yeah.
force them to do that. My son plays a lot of sports. But for example, I sent him to French club. And he's like, why am I going to French club? And I was like, oh, I think it's cool, to learn a bit of French. That's fun. And he's like, I don't think so. But he goes. So does it make me a controlling, horrible parent for forcing my child to do stuff that he doesn't want to do? You know what I mean? Like I know Lilith obviously is
No,
doing something completely extreme, but
but you're not making him like walk the plank or like
yeah,
you're not making him walk across,
yeah,
the cliffs
yeah.
in the brack
But
of Cayman.
I'm making him do something that he doesn't want to do.
You're not making him. You're asking him and you're making the opportunity available. If he didn't want to do it, he would not do it.
That's true, actually.
And you have better relationship with him because you spend time with him.
Like Lilith, just a modern mom, busy with her career.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be defending Lilith.
Lilith. Love of her life died.
Yes. Oh my God, that was so sweet as well. She's like, oh, because you
Yeah.
think scribes are inferior. What are you talking about? The love of my life was a scribe. Like, oh,
Yeah. That was sweet.
yes. Um, well, another thing that Lilith tells us, which is very interesting and very, very confusing for Violet, is the that Xaden was essentially looking after Violet on Lilith's orders.
Yeah.
What did you think about that? Like when you read it, was it a shock? Did you expect
No,
this?
it wasn't a shock to me.
Oh, really?
No, no.
Okay.
I
Oh.
mean, because there's always an agenda,
Uh-huh.
right? And I mean, he told her he was in love with her from the second,
Yeah.
he saw her,
Yeah.
but there's always something going on there.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really shocked when she said that. I was like, okay, well, she's staying. I mean, they go back and talk about all the things that he saved her from, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's got to be a reason for that too. And I thought maybe he started out because he had to, but then he fell in love with her,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, which was a lot faster than not. But
Yeah.
some core psychological pieces are cognitive dissonance. Like you're trying to do something good for someone else and you're hating someone else, but you're still taking care of their daughter, even though you hate them, kind of a thing.
I
There's
see.
this
Yeah, that's
cognitive
exactly what I
dissonance.
wanted to bring up is that,
Yeah,
that how difficult it must have been for Xaden at the start,
absolutely.
just when she asked him before he met Violet, but it's like, yeah, she's Lilith's daughter.
Yeah, and everyone knew that from the get, right? And that's what Mira said, stay away from Xaden, because everyone knew that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that, there's like emotional conflict for him,
Mm-hmm.
projection, loyalty conflict, trauma, and inherited hatred. I think Violet also represents the enemy. She represents privilege, the system, betrayal. And then he sees her and he meets her as a person. And that is that human connection that disrupts all that ideological thinking
Mm-hmm.
because you cannot help who you fall in love with.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
also I love that just the way it's, in the like written in the book, it's not that he saw her and he's
Mhm.
just like, oh my God, like, and he's on his knees. Like just
Yeah.
the way it develops is so gradual, and it's, like if you think about it, that, before he saw her, he probably hated her. He might not even thought about her that much if he didn't have to take care of her, if you know what I mean. It's just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
she's coming. But because he has to take care of her, he
Yeah.
automatically resents her, I think. And so then he sees her in person and he notices, those things like her hair, her eyes, and he's curious about her and probably maybe doesn't like that he sees something, but but he can't help it, right? And then
Yeah.
she crosses the parapet, and then she starts, and again, because he has to watch her, right? He's watching her closely, and
Hmm.
she's showing, I mean, not deliberately to him, but he sees that she's smart, she's clever, she's
Yeah.
resourceful, all that. So he's like, and that's all growing, growing, growing. And then at some
Yeah.
point, and then the dragons bond, and there's like another layer of complexity in that relationship. I just love how it all comes together, because I can't pinpoint the moments, what was it, at what point
Yeah.
that was Lilith's orders, and at what point it's him wanting to help her. Like thinking about when he's giving her a lesson on the mat.
Hmm.
Even when you read it, for the first time, it's like, is he interested in her? Like, what's going on? Now you know that Lilith was involved as well, and he was under orders. It's just all like super interesting, I think.
And I think he didn't want to like her, but I think sometimes you can't
Yeah.
fight that chemistry.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. But also what I find funny, like going back to book one, is when they moved their squad to his wing,
Hmm.
he moved it to protect her. But
Not to
obviously,
kill her.
yeah, but obviously she's sweating, Dane's sweating. Just like he wants to murder her. And then, when he caught them in the rotunda, when they were chatting, and he's like, where are your loyalties? Like, he's just messing with them at that point, because obviously he's not going to kill her. Or like, I mean, maybe he wants to, but he can't
Yeah.
physically, because of Lilith's orders. I just find this hilarious.
Didn't he say when he fell for her, didn't he say, I've wanted to, like, I've loved you or I've wanted you since this day or.
I think he said in these chapters, I think he says
Mhm.
he fell for her when she kissed him. So that's after the dragons bonded.
Okay. I thought it was before that for some
Um,
reason.
I I do think that further in the series, I don't think it's this point, but I think at some point he does say, or maybe I do apologize if he said that already, but I think he does reference the moment when he sees her in on the parapet for the first time, and that he like noticed her
Yeah.
at this point. Um, so he felt something at that moment already.
Yeah. He probably was like, oh, crap.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, because we have the chapters from Xaden's perspective, right? And we have the chapters when when he's giving her that lesson on the mat. Then we have a chapter when the dragons bonded, on the and you could see that he's interested in her, and he's also frustrated with himself. And Garrick sees that as well because he's constantly poking fun at him. And then it all ends in this one culminates in these chapters when he actually finally tells her that he loves her.
Yeah.
When he rescues her, when he risks everything to rescue her. It's a good love story. Do you think Xaden would have fallen for Violet in the same way if he hadn't been forced into her orbit from the very beginning?
I think so because, well, I mean, I don't know. I think sometimes that serendipitous meeting and attraction happens depending on where you're at. And like, how people say if they don't come into your life or if something happens, they'll find their way to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but those core pieces of forced proximity and attachment formulation and familiarity, trauma bonding, emotional exposure, co-regulation through danger. Those are all kind of the psychological themes I think that kind of got them to come together. But repeated exposure sometimes creates that intimacy as well.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to survive, and vulnerability and that emotional dependence grows.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm thinking is protecting someone changes how we emotionally organize around them. So I'm thinking maybe something shifted, and even though he didn't want to like her at first, but I think chemistry and attraction happen, and I don't know, we talk about anxiety or no anxiety, but something just turns. It's like a switch turns on when you have that chemistry with someone.
Yeah.
And I just don't think you can fight it. I mean, you can fight it, but I don't think it's gonna. It presents itself, it's there. So
Yeah.
I think it would have happened either way.
Yeah. I like Lilith when she says, I did not foresee the bonded dragons and whatever emotional entanglement you got yourself into.
I remember listening to that going, well, yeah, I guess you wouldn't, would you? Because
Well, no, she was in love with her husband.
Blame him, because blame mom, really.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she basically, here's my daughter, pay attention.
Yeah, you're welcome. You can't say protect my daughter who is amazing, but don't fall in love with her.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. She didn't probably expect that. None of us really expected them to be bonded for life.
Yes.
Yeah. And death.
That's true.
It's literally till death do us part.
Yeah.
Literally. Or our dragon's deaths do we part.
Yes. We have other two characters in these chapters that also love Violet, not the same way as Xaden, but they are very close and they've been taking care of her. And I'm talking about Dain and Nolon here. And I do want to talk about them kind of in parallel.
Okay.
Because they both follow the system. Nolon, obviously, with his eyes open, he knows exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And but he still loves Violet, right? He knows her for a long time. He's been taking care of her, whatever, breaks, sprains, whatever she needed. When he sees her in this situation, he's not happy with her being hurt. And he really wants her to have an excuse. But he doesn't put her above the system, like her well-being, because,
right.
that comes first. And the whole belief that what Nava is doing is correct is morally gray, and said they're protecting their country while putting the other ones at risk. And then we have Dain, who is by nature is a rule follower.
Yeah.
You expect him to fall into the same role, the same situation, as Nolan, I suppose, and be, very loyal to Navarre, and whatever Navarre is doing, that's the right thing. And then he doesn't. Like, he sees the truth, she forces him to see the truth.
Yeah.
And he chooses her over the system. Either because he is morally, ethically superior. I don't know. But what?
I just think the system failed him.
That's a good point.
Because he's got that moral integrity.
Yeah.
And when you put everything into something, that's where your moral integrity goes, and then it fails you. It changes who you are as a person. Like, the second he heard all of that, he knew all those things he was doing and all the rules he was following were not that they weren't real, but they weren't being held to a standard of integrity.
Yeah.
He couldn't believe it. Like, I thought, when something fails you that much, it doesn't break you, but it changes your whole identity makeup. I think he was still trying to form himself and become that person. And, he was emotionally activated. He was confronted with this undeniable truth.
Mm-hmm.
And that just, I think that's where him and Nolan are a little different, because Nolan his identity was built on obedience, and he was dependent on the system, like psychologically almost. And I don't think he could tolerate like a collapse of his worldview. So I know he cared about Violet, but I think he was more, when you're a healer, it's almost like that's your whole identity is to make sure someone's okay.
Mm-hmm.
He knows the truth,
yeah.
But he just kept having to heal her, and he knew, he knew what was happening.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because he put the system above, right?
I think the system became his identity.
Yeah.
Because he knew the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe sometimes, like, like the boiling of the frog technique is if you give people a little piece. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
You can boil a frog in lukewarm water, and then it just like raising the heat.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And then a frog will be boiled.
Uh-huh.
Whereas if you throw a frog in boiling water,
yeah,
they'll jump right back out.
Oh, okay.
So Dain is like the frog in boiling water. He got the truth just thrown at him,
mm-hmm.
and he jumped right back out.
Yeah.
Whereas Nolan had these little pieces of what's going on come in, and he just kept staying loyal and obedient to the system.
Yeah. I find both their situation realistic, like both their reactions.
Absolutely.
When you find out the truth and you completely, like, it changes you, like, Dain. Well, not changes him necessarily, but changes his loyalties. And the same with Nolan, when you are kind of on this track, like a train, and that's it. Like, whatever happens, you keep going with that. And maybe it's the age as well, because Nolan is, I don't know how old he is, but I think he is in his senior years.
And he's established, and he's probably seen a lot more.
Yes.
And his whole being is health and healing. So he overrides whatever's happening just to make sure people are feeling better.
Yeah.
Kind
of think about the new generation versus old generation. That's how the old generation sticks to, like, and they don't really want to change, while the new generation is more open to, like, well, maybe that's not the right way. Maybe we should be doing something differently. And actually, one of my favorite moments as well in these chapters is when Violet delays their departure, because Xaden's ready to go. He just wants to get out. He wants her safe. And she says no. And I know she is thinking as well about Rhiannon and about her friends.
Yeah.
She wants to give them a choice, but it's not just them, but then it's like if she's given choice to them, then she wants everybody to have the same.
Yeah.
And then she stays. And do you think part of the reason this matters so much to her is because of everything she suffered for it, including the torture? Suffered for this truth, for this information? And she's just like, well, no, it has to be out.
Maybe, but I think it was more of her wanting to restore agency to others.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think torture is part of it, but maybe the meaning that comes out of the suffering. What's this all for? Why are we suffering? And then there's other themes like post-traumatic moral clarity and trauma versus autonomy and, reclaiming control. But I think, after being silenced and restrained and manipulated and denied truth, she becomes intensely sensitive to removing choice from others. And she, so maybe she just started thinking, well, this is great, but what about everybody? Because it's really hard to go somewhere and be a leader because she's a born leader.
I was just thinking that as well. This is a very leader thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah. And you wouldn't want to leave others. And like you said, they're her friends too. And she had to keep those secrets for so long, and she's kept so much from so many people, I think, also wanting to tell them the truth. But like people who've experienced powerlessness often become fiercely protective of other people's autonomy. So if, like you said before with the trauma, once you've experienced that, I think it rises up that, fierceness for others.
Yeah.
So
because she's not looking for an army, right? Like it's just they make a choice to come with them, but it wasn't her goal in any way. She's
not telling them to come. She's just giving them the option to come. And that's agency, right?
And then the professors joined. That was epic. I mean, especially with Devera, that was satisfying. And talking about sharing information, we also have another layer of control there, which we knew it was there, but it's the first time maybe we see it exercised. It's the dragons.
Yeah,
so
that was weird.
Yeah, they tell everybody the truth. They show, and then some dragons are like, you're not gonna see this. You're not like, forget about everything that you just heard and saw. Like dragons made the choice for those riders. They agree basically with Navarre. They just wanna stay hidden, safe.
Yeah, everyone, including dragons, has their own reasoning, right? But they're gatekeepers, so.
Yeah.
And they have the power.
Yeah.
They're in control.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And
you could.
Sorry.
Huh? No, it's okay.
Oh, it's just something that Rebecca Yarros said in one of her interviews when they said, why do dragons tolerate humans? Like, why do dragons actually need humans? And she said, opposable thumbs. And that's the thing, like, right, they keep humans just for the power, for the signets, so that they can protect the veil, the hatching grounds.
Yeah.
And I just love, like every time when I read these books and I come across these little moments, I mean, they're significant moments, but they kind of like, just happen every now and then. It reminds me that the series is called Empyrean. I wonder if, I don't know, but there will be something bigger.
Yeah.
That dragons were going to make a major choice, or maybe they made a choice a long time ago.
Right.
And this is what we are dealing with is the consequences of that choice that they made.
Sometimes even, I think, supposedly good systems still ration truth, though. Like, you could tie all of this to, like, governments, families, institutions, like religion, military systems. I think what we're seeing here is not very, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's unusual. When you get a lot of people together in a group formation that are trying to move in the same direction, there's always going to be something like these things going on, I guess. So it's just interesting in the systems. Yeah.
And it's interesting as well that the dragons decided to kind of split, right? They didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like those who wanted to leave left and those who wanted to stay stayed. I mean, it's the humans that they manipulated.
Got a lot of training to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait for the next chapters that we're going to discuss their, how life is going to be for them in the new location. That's great.
Right.
And I'm excited to see more of Brennan as well.
Right. There's one little overarching theme that in this episode about attachment, overriding that ideology. I think it's just interesting.
Yeah.
If every character had to answer, like, at what point does attachment override that ideology? At what point did they choose? You've got Xaden, who is just like, yes. Dain, who's eventually yes. Nolon, nope. Lilith partially, and then Violet is like truth plus attachment becomes morality, when that happens. But
Can love override loyalty, essentially?
right.
Right? Like, it's not like Nolan's love for Violet is not going to override his loyalty to Navarre.
And neither was Dane's.
Until he knows the truth. But then it's not like
Yeah.
he didn't follow. But he tells her, "I wish you told me before."
Yeah, but he wouldn't have believed her before, I don't think.
You don't think he would have believed her unless she?
I think he would have gone straight to his dad.
Unless she would have showed him. Maybe, yeah, maybe you're right.
He
Because
would have gone straight to his dad and, Dad, this is happening. I can't believe you didn't tell me this. Is this true?
I thought that he would have just thought that Xaden put something in her head. Like he would have blamed
could have
Xaden.
done-
Yeah.
Either that or that. Yeah. Or he could have said, Dad, I can't believe this. This is what they're saying.
Yeah.
And then what would have happened?
But it's actually seeing her tortured
Yeah.
and the memories. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Some people need more. And Xaden, obviously, that's love for him over loyalty. And Lilith, I think Lilith is walking fine line because essentially she is committing treason on some level by letting Violet go. By letting Xaden go as well. They should be basically executed for this, but she lets them go. So it's fine line.
So hit the moral gray ground when she had him protect her too.
She is one of my favorite person because she is truly morally gray. Like you can't put her into any box.
Yeah.
Because she does great things, but at the same time, I think she truly believes that what Navarre is doing is a good thing. Because she tells Violet, I knew you would not be able to see it from our side, or something like that. She puts herself in the same line as Navarre. I wonder where Violet's dad was on that. When he tells her, hope you're gonna make the right choice. In his note. Marriage problems. In today's counseling session, we have Lilith and Asha.
We are doing couples therapy today.
I think this is where we're going to leave our discussion for today and move to our favorite segment, Who Needs Therapy This Week? It doesn't have to be Lilith and Asha.
I know, I was thinking, I had a whole list. I had Varrish, I had Nolan, I had Lilith, I had Xaden, I had Dain. I'm thinking Dain because his poor identity just collapsed.
Yes.
He probably feels guilty. He probably has all these thoughts. He just needs help. Xaden, he's destroying governments for a woman and he's just in love. And I think they need to be able to take that next step.
Yeah.
Lilith is emotionally avoidant parenting. Nolan, that moral compartmentalization that he just needs help with just kind of being okay with staying in the system.
Yeah.
And then Varrish, that sadistic control obsession. He needs.
I think Varrish is beyond help.
I was just thinking that too. I was like, well, first you have to want help and you're going to have to want, and I don't think he'd be able to show up.
Yeah. And Dain will have to come to terms with what he has done.
Yeah.
Yeah. My poor Dain.
It was because of him that Liam died.
Well, that's what Violet tells him. All right. Before we wrap up, let's look at our Minds Over Magic moments for this week. The moments from these chapters that really stayed with us and made us feel. Can you pick one moment? A moment or a quote or...
I'm thinking there's a few, of course.
Okay.
Well, there's two.
Okay.
I think when Xaden said, I would always choose you.
Aw, okay.
I know, I love that one. Mm-hmm. And then Violet insisting that everyone deserves the truth.
Okay.
I just love those two pieces.
My favorite. It's a quote. There we go. And this quote is by Lilith. Oh, and Violet, she calls back over her shoulder, Sorrengails walk or fly off the battlefield, but they're never carried.
Yeah, I remember that.
Go, Lilith. And Violet's like
whatever.
Unbelievable. And my second favorite part is Dain. The moment when he said, you should have trusted me, because I always believed that, Dain was just kind of misguided and he just didn't have the whole information. But that
Yeah.
moment when he pulls out of her head and he just like, yeah, they're smuggling. And, Rebecca really tricked me there, because for that like second, I was like, no, no. And then he stabs Varrish.
No, I knew that. I had a feeling.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, Dain, you got to believe her.
Yeah.
Like the second he sees that.
Yeah.
I think. But yeah, I mean, I didn't expect him to take the knife and kill him, but I kind of did, because you get mad.
He had to. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
only way he could have redeemed himself, at least in
Yeah.
Xaden's eyes at that point. Anyway, well, that's it for today. Next episode, we are starting part 2 of Iron Flame. No more Basgayath. We are now settling in Arisha.
Follow us on Instagram at Minds Over Magic, or email us at mindsovermagicpodcast@gmail.com with your questions, comments, or romantasy recs.
Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share with your fellow magic-minded friends. And if you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe and let us know in the comments what you think about these chapters.
And until next time, keep your mind sharp and your heart open.